There's a great story of what happens to so many of us when we embark on the spiritual path and we start to get bits of this knowledge of a guru when he had disciples, and he was teaching this exact same teaching to his disciples. Everything is Brahma, there's nothing but Brahma. So two of his disciples go into the city one day, and as they're in the city, there's a big shout that there's an elephant coming. And the man who takes care of the elephant, the Mordat who takes care of the elephant, is shouting, "Get out of the way, get out of the way, elephant's coming, get out of the way." And the disciple thinks, well, my guru says everything's God. And so I'm going to just stay here because this elephant, well, it's just an illusion. It's really Brahma, it's God. And I'm really Brahma. I'm not just this weak guy. So why do I have to get out of the way? So the elephant guy is screaming. Mahavat, that's what they call him, Mahavat, is screaming at him, get out of the way, get out of the way. And everybody's trying to pull this guy out of the way. He says, no, it's all good, it's all God, no problem. Elephant, of course, comes and picks him up in his trunk and tosses him, hundreds of yards, and he falls and breaks every bone in his body. And finally his fellow disciples catch up to him and find him broken and bleeding in the grass, and he says, I hate our guru is horrible, look, he gave us this false piece of information, that was a horrible elephant, that was not God, I'm never going back to the guru's ashram. So the disciples go back, they tell the guru, they all come out, finally they find him with their lanterns in the night. And the guru comes, and the disciples you know how our ego just locks us up in these ridiculous states. So the man is locked up in one of those states. And the guru says, Kya hua? What happened? And the man says, I was just trying to implement your teaching. You are the one who said everything is God. Look what this elephant did to me. And the guru says, but you didn't really implement the teaching. And the man says, what do you mean? I was seeing the elephant as Brahma. And the guru says, but what about the elephant man who told you, get out of the way? What about all the people who tried to grab you and pull you out of the way? I told you everything is Brahma. In your ego, you decided it was just going to be you and the elephant. But you left out the elephant man, you left out all the people, you left out your fellow disciples trying to help you. And this is what happens sadly to us, is we tend to develop these very narrow views. Aham Brahmasmi, I am God. Therefore, you should do the dishes tonight. Therefore, you should take care of me. Well, if I'm God, then so are you. Because God doesn't play favorites. There's no God who says, well, I'm going to be one with you, but not with you. When there's nothing but God, there's nothing but God. And so as we implement these teachings in our lives, it's really, really important to remember that. And again, of course, it's not easy. It's not easy to move through the world remembering that. And that's why when we think about the level on which we live, we have to remember that, yes, that is the ultimate highest truth. And yet, there is also the creation. There is the creator, and then there is the creation, and that's us. And yes, at our core, we're God. There is nothing but God. But as the creation, in this Leela, this beautiful, incredible, divine drama that God has created, we have hearts that love, and we have minds that think, and we have the ability to have compassion, and we have the ability to reach out a hand. And one of the real tragic pitfalls of a superficial understanding, or rather a superficial implementation in our lives of these truths, is we tend to just use them. Well, everything's God, so why do I have to do my homework? Everything's God, so why give charity? Why pay my taxes? Why do anything? I mean, if it's all perfect, if there's nothing but God, why do I have to set an alarm and get up early in the morning and meditate and pray? I mean, I'm already God. And it really lends itself to very challenging games of the ego. So what I have found personally is it's beautiful to hold that truth, to remember that, to know that that is the highest level of truth. But it's also helpful to remember, well, when I can't live in that every moment of every day, let me at least live in my humanity rather than live in simply a pushed away humanity because, well, everything's God, so I might as well have a beer and watch the ball game. I'm like, what's it matter? And that's a pitfall we don't want to fall into. And so when we think about existence, one way is, you've got like the old TVs and how they had dials that would actually turn from one channel to another channel. And if you think about it, like on the highest channel, the all-encompassing, truest, real channel, it's all God. But then on another channel, we're here in this human form. And this human form has the ability to do things like smile at each other, hug each other, help each other, make laddus and feed each other, use our talent and our ability to serve each other. And we don't want to dismiss that. Because one of the things on a personal level that has always felt very real to me is God is perfect. Otherwise, wouldn't be God. And if God had wanted us to just disconnect entirely from the world and to just know, okay, there's nothing but God. Let these people suffer, let them die, let this happen, let that happen, no problem. It's all God anyway. If that's what God had wanted of us, I do not believe we would have been born with the ability to experience empathy, to experience compassion, to cry at the plight of another. I do not believe that our instinct would be immediately, before our brain processes it, to reach out and help someone who falls down in front of us. I mean, if you're walking down the street and someone in front of you falls, you don't process it in your brain. Well, is it God? Is it not God? You reach down, you help. And if we're trying too much to push away our humanity, then we're throwing away a gift that God has given us, which is our humanity. He's perfect. He gave us a human birth on purpose. We could have been a leaf. We could have been an earthworm. We could have been a tripod. I mean, it's all God. Why human? Why consciousness? Why love? Why intuition? So we use those as gifts from God, as an awareness that the perfect, all-knowing, all-powerful God gave them to us. And yet we hold in our awareness that the highest, deepest, truest truth is it's all perfect. It is all perfect. And yet we still reach down and help up the person who trips in front of us. Because that channel also exists, as long as we're human.